Welcome to earnings season, guys. I'm Randy at RT
And I'm Dana at TJH.ja.
and this is earnings season, the weekly show on finance and everything else that strikes our interest, money-wise, investing-wise. And this is another one in our COVID series or Corona series.
Corona series, that's hilarious.
Right? Thank you, Cardi B, for providing that wonderful that wonderful vocal clip for us via her Instagram. And then the guy, I've forgotten the guy's name, but the remix of it. But yeah, everybody locked down, everybody home. We're, we're recording this now the week of the 23rd. It's actually the 23rd, so you guys are hearing at least this piece recorded on the 23rd. Are we talking more Corona, more COVID-19, and the situation as it hits the local market? So last week you'd have heard us talk a little bit about. I'm saying last week, but this might not come out right now, so let me not say last week. You would have heard an episode where we spoke about just small plays. I think I mentioned something about Pulse during that time, and earlier I was talking again about it. I think the point I'd wanted to say last week, and I'll make sure I say it now, is that the market is not dead. Believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy because everybody say, "Yo, the market down." The market is down, but you don't buy the market. As Dana say, you're not a fund. You're not an
Yeah,
index.
you
I
choose
only
what you want
buy
to buy. So
specific
this,
stocks.
you have this big overarching goal
Exactly.
where I have to buy everything. No, you are your index. You get up and say, I want this in there. This is going to go down, and guess what? I'm not buying. You choose what you're buying. People, as Randy said earlier, stuff gone since. So what are you really
What?
saying when you say
Answer
that?
the call, sir.
Oh,
Sorry, it's the
that.
phone I hear. I think to answer the call.
Oh
That's
no,
not your phone.
we don't answer phone. We don't answer calls in this house.
Oh wow.
I'm joking.
All right. So what I wanted to talk about was something else in this episode. A short thing on, well, two things, because then I shared that video with me. But the point I was making earlier was that while the market is down, and it is down, there's no denying it. Lots of wonderful, huge stocks out there for much, much cheaper than they were before. But while the market is down, there's still opportunities out there because every single day there's stocks that go up. Every single day. And some stocks have not fallen as heavily, and other stocks have fallen and risen back to other percentages, not as huge as they fell, but there's a rise there.
Is that right?
No, 20% is 20% is 20%, right?
Yep.
20, yeah, that's exactly how I look at it. 10% is 10%, 30% is 30%. If you can find it and if you see it there, go ahead and get it. Only in Jamaica are you vilified if you invest towards getting a set percentage within a set and a usual short amount of time. Everywhere else in the world is considered great and you consider a good investor for it.
uh,
But we have a
some of
different
you got lost
strategy,
along the way, you know.
right? Boy.
It's funny because
Anyway,
boy, I'm not complaining about this one. I keep doing this, keep getting myself in the same rabbit hole where I complain
right.
about this for
Complain same way, man. Cause I tired
no,
of being the only one
the
complaining.
thing. No, the thing is, it's completely become pointless. You know, I for one hate sitting and I hate it in myself, so I hate it in others. So it's I sit down and always complain about something. If you can't change it, then what's the point of complaining, really? There becomes a point where venting becomes pointless, right? So
Yes, yeah, you can't just be
everywhere,
blind complaining. You are correct.
everywhere else we talk about benchmarks, so you want to beat this X amount. That is setting a return. So if it's a minimum, you're setting a return amount because you're okay getting the benchmark. But guess what? You want to beat the benchmark. So that's you saying I want 0.01% more than the benchmark. So you want to beat your benchmark, right? So that is you setting a goal as
I
defined
get that.
investment in a defined return figure that you want to make in X period of time. That's so I'm not sure where we got to the point where it's a bad thing to say, boy, I want 30% in this year and see if it's actually doable and work towards. If it's not doable, then rework it. But first set a goal at the start about how much you want to make. That's it. If you get up and say, boy, that's not possible, then that you're saying to yourself, you're saying to everybody, that you do not have an understanding of the market to the point where you can actually set a return in the future, where you don't have an understanding of whatever you're investing in to that level. Yes, things can happen, but generally we understand that things behave a certain way over whatever period of time, whatever. So if you can understand the behavior of certain things, then the likelihood of that event happening is it's a higher likelihood, right? So to say otherwise, you're really
Seems
not
that way
saying
to me.
much. Yeah. And the thing is, we accept this math
Hmm.
across investing doesn't do the math of it and all that. We accept other math that works in that same way, but we won't accept that one. You heard me complain about how risk is measured, volatility. That's you saying the behavior of the past is behavior of the future, right? Right. So certain things
Hmm.
you're not really adding up if you think about that in certain ways. So when you said this stock will give you a 30% by the year end, if you do you have whatever reason for that to happen, and it's sound and it generally happens like that for most of the times, then I'm not seeing where you're failing if you say, boy, if profit move 30% at this at XPE, then you can say, boy, then this might move 30%. You know? So if you say things like that, then I wonder about your understanding about things in the market. But that's where you go. Again, there's no point to me complaining over and over about the one thing.
And you are 100% correct. That's the thing that I had to, and I still have to remind myself about all the time that, yo, after a certain point, it's like I'm arguing about whether or not the sun is shining
Yeah,
or if
you're
it's
arguing with
raining.
yourself at this point.
I,
At that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And I do know that I am sillier in that I really do come up. I know it's dumb, but I really do, like, I go into these conversations with the understanding that if I am wrong or if somebody says something and I realize that, wow, I was wrong,
Oh yeah,
I
you
am
always learn from
actually
that, you know.
going to change my view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Changing the
I
face
am
of new
always going to
information
change
is
my
always
view.
fine. There's nothing ever wrong with that. But well, I think I wouldn't say it's a Jamaican thing because I know that it's true elsewhere. I'm just using my Jamaican experience if I say it like that. But we have a thing where somebody can't change their opinion on the new information you give them. So the argument is not it's not an argument of boy, I'm actually right. It's not whether or not the information that's being given is right or wrong, and then we can take a new stance based on that. It's you're actually arguing to be right or wrong. So boy, he did say this, him change his opinion, and it's not an issue. And both parties, so what the winning
Well,
the quote unquote winning party will get up and him vex to the next guy because boy I was right the whole time, and the losing party vexed because boy I know I was wrong. And what there's no admittance that oh I'm wrong, so they're not moving on from there. So the fact that I think you're the same, I am like that where I want to if I get new information in my opinion then changes and I will go false and support the gospel of your whatever you were saying to me and I was wrong about, right? So
yeah, but that's the point. You have
yeah,
to. I
there's
mean,
no point in arguing
that is
otherwise,
the
right?
entire point, as far as I know. Yeah, because you want to know if you get it wrong, because then yo, then I can fix it.
Yeah, you don't get it.
Then I can.
Same like IPO. The same with here. It complains about the IPO poppers and whatever, whatever, whatever. And you always said one of the worst things that can happen to you is you do well on an IPO for all the wrong reasons. Because then the next IPO going into,
Yeah,
you have all the wrong reasons going into it, thinking it's going to behave the same way, and it just don't work out like that. And I think for IPOs only,
you're
stocks in
right.
general,
On that
investing
note,
in general. Yeah.
yes. And the second you can say, yo, I was wrong about this and move, is the second you can change. I think maybe that's why, like, I always saw it that way, but I didn't learn it from a book or from. I did learn from reading a lot of books, but
Well,
I
that's
didn't
real life.
learn it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not real life for everybody.
Hmm.
And it's me having to accept that it's not real life for everybody and other people see this thing differently, and they're offended if you even try to speak about it differently.
Hmm.
So while that don't make sense to me, it does make sense to other people, and so you have to make room for that. But I'll get off that and I'll touch it more on things that I know everybody wants to talk about. So for example, you mentioned IPOs a while ago.
Hmm.
I'll bring it right back to the market where we're talking to you the night before
Oh yes,
the
TransJam.
TransJamaica IPO
Mm,
lists. Big, 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 big thing happening, right? The biggest listing that Jamaica's ever seen.
yep.
Uh I'm thinking about our timing on this because, well, you know what? Day one predictions. What you have for your day one
Oh, they
predictions?
want
Because no matter
prediction.
what, people are not going to hear this before.
Oh yeah. I,
Yeah,
I,
day one
I was
prediction.
thinking I don't want to give a prediction. I wouldn't want to talk about anything until the next week, but that's fine. I don't care anymore. Day one, I expect tech to move up, but not heavily because we see the amount of selling pressure that's happening in the market right now. And the thing is, if everybody else,
Hmm.
a lot of people sold stocks so they can go into transition. From last year, we hear people that who they made money on something. Some of your
Yeah, man.
students, people that we interact with from this investing journey, a lot of them were saving up to go into
Hmm.
TransJam. So they made money on a stock and they say, "Yo, I'm not going to reinvest this 30% up. I just got to have the cash 30% up from what I invested in. I'm not going to invest it because I'm waiting on TransJam. And TransJam, the goalposts get moving when they list. And but they stood and they held the money.
Yes.
We know a lot of people that were selling stocks to actually buy into TransJam. The pressure on the market started coming
Hmm.
around the part where TransJam unknown. So the prospectus is out, and then boy, the market, a lot of things will start falling because people selling to go into it. And I justify that view by the amount of money that was put forward to TransJam. $25 billion they got.
Bill, yeah.
Yeah. So to me,
Yep.
that's
25.5.
yeah. So to me, that's a heavy, a large amount of money, and to me, that's a heavy justification. So
Or
okay,
is it
so
20?
that
Sorry.
that hmm?
Sorry, I
Right?
don't want to get that wrong. It's so funny how we care about things like that. Sorry, I didn't want to get that wrong. I don't remember
What
if it's
amount of money?
25.5 or 25.1.
It's 25
Yeah.
point something. I think
Im-
point five, but check it yes.
Imagine that. Imagine that. I'm worried about the difference between point 0.5 or point 0.1. Granted, at billion,
It's
the
millions.
difference between point 0.5 of a billion, point 0.1 of a billion, yeah, it's huge, right? But still, it's 25 point something billion that came to them. Sorry, Danai, to cut your point. But yeah, you're saying.
Yeah. So to me, that the amount of money they got is a justification for my idea that boy, so a good amount of money was leaving the market to go into Transjam. Cool. So when
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
tangent really say.
That's fine.
No, I don't know what I was trying to. The point I was making.
Oh, I think, oh, I don't want to play it back. I don't even know if we can play it back.
Don't
I
play
think
about
your
it.
point, though, was around the money that went into the market for the, or people from last year have been
Oh
putting up
yes,
money
yes. So
for
I'm going
TransJamaica.
into how
Yeah.
TransJamaica will behave. So yeah, so and then the whole
Yes.
so that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Around the closure dates, things are still falling. The closure happened and things still falling because COVID started coming. COVID panic. I don't think COVID was a real factor in a lot of markets' mind at that point. It was a panic of seeing what happened in the world markets and what's happening across the world. Everything falling because of COVID, and then people start putting people. So people, I found people that were saying the transjam fall out in the market was because of COVID. So they never had any idea of what COVID was doing around transjam time, but then blaming COVID for transjam's fall. So
Exactly.
I never understood that one. So you never know anything about COVID, but you sold when you heard COVID because guess what? The market fell and people talking about COVID, so it must be COVID. Cool. Yeah. So with that atmosphere in the market right now,
Boy. Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that went into
Yeah, man, I'm
transjam,
listening to you say,
yeah,
man.
man, yeah, man. So a lot of people that went into transjam
Mm-hmm.
they probably have the
Mm-hmm.
same selling mentality to sell it because of the behavior or whatever. They have something reasons around COVID or whatever, so they probably want to sell. Obviously, the first instinct isn't to sell at a loss. Cool, so you probably put up some sell at a premium. You want to sell and make some money on it. Um, but the idea is that the buying pressure on them from the market might not be that heavy. The guys that want to get in are probably thinking maybe it fall, or maybe I can get it cheap. You know. So I think the selling
Mm-hmm.
pressure will be heaviest overall, but early prediction I expect that some people will be buying in on the premium. So like you buying at breakup price 15% up, 20% up, maybe 30% up. if something lucky, then boy, then it
Word.
get heavy. But I'm not really seeing like a boy a double. I'm not seeing that, and I see where eventually,
Really?
hmm? And very I see I
No, I'm
can see
saying really
where.
that's big. So you
Mm-hmm. Ready?
no, I just agreeing with you. Keep going. Yeah, man, I'm hearing you, man.
Oh
I'm
yeah, yeah,
hearing you. Keep
man.
going.
So thing there. So I'm not seeing where a lot of a heavy amount of brand pressure, especially if you can get so much other things at a discount that you were so happy with. To get TransJam at ideal price or more versus boy, people been
Hmm.
watching JMB, people been watching NCB. If you're really coming to the market, then I'm not sure that TransJam would be your first choice. Maybe get a preference because it's a new hot thing, it's the IPO, but I'm not seeing where the whole market will look that direction. The refund money came back, people got the refund, so some of that will be going back into the market. But the thing is, they don't have to choose TransJam only. It's not like regular market condition where, boy, everything up, and the best deal you can get is this thing near IPO price. Right now, everything down, so the best deal you can get is almost anything. So
Everything,
everything,
almost anything. You can
boy,
you
discounts
can lock your
everywhere.
eye and pick something
Yeah,
good.
IPO too short.
Literally.
So yeah,
Yo, it,
anyway, say.
no man, I just agreeing with you. Yeah, almost everything is so good now that you it's almost a struggle to find a bad pick. But here's one thing I'll say though, based on what you just said, that I don't know about. Because here's my point of contention, right? Um, so yes, the listing happened, and yes, a whole heap of and let me just cover the listing because I don't think we ever really officially said it on here. What happened was that I think everybody that's not in the public class got 100% of their allocations. Is that correct? Do I have that correct?
Maybe.
Or is it everybody except the pensions and public?
Yeah, pensions got the public didn't get. The pensions got all they wanted in the
I,
pools, but their pools are upsized. So
but did they still get everything that they wanted?
yeah, because they were filled from I think the wording was that yeah, man, check the wording. Actually, check the wording.
Yeah, it's very important, right?
Yes,
Because
it is.
we know how that go. And for the people listening, I want to say how it go. The pensions have the most money in Jamaica in terms of
Buying.
let me say that again. Let me be a little bit more accurate. In terms of buying power and movement, the pensions have a crap load of money. Now
Mm-hmm.
they have so much money that there are actually restrictions on what they can buy and how much of
Mm-hmm.
anything that they can buy. One, to protect people's money safety, and two, because I mean, for example, if
They
all the
do actual
pensions in Jamaica
diversification.
decided to buy US, yes, they do.
Not the
Yeah,
stock
yes, they
market.
do
But
actual
one thing, but
diversification.
this is across or white, and they have the diversification net. So I can't buy too much into this company and buy NCB stock. Them can only buy only a certain percentage of NCB. So they buy NCB
Ex,
stock, them can't go buy more of the bonds because they
e-
might too much in NCBs and go to the next company. It's diversified heavily. A pension portfolio.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it is because they are specifically trying to remove almost all the risk.
Mm.
Because their timeline is generally,
Yes.
I mean,
40
a
years.
pension timeline is generally, yeah, 40, 50 years, right? Average, let's say, and this is me guessing here, but let's say average starting work age is, let's say, 25.
Yeah.
Somebody starts working at this company at 25, and they're going to work there until they're 65. So they have a good 40 years that the pension doesn't have to necessarily um, pay out. That's for that one person. Or the reality of a pension is that they have a they have cash considerations that they have to do every year, all the time. People, even though the pension might start today, somebody might retire next week
Mm.
and them qualify because they're in the pension. And the
Yeah.
pension also isn't just there to save the money. In fact, pensions are not there to save money. Pensions are there to make money,
Yeah.
but they're
To
there to make money in a very structured and
specifically. Yeah.
safe way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you think about the people who hear me go on and on about goals, if you hear me talk about goals, a pension fund could say that its goal is to um,
Generally, the goal of a
make
pension fund is to make you get the amount of
inflation
money. Yeah, just get rid of inflation to the point where so you would at the point when you get your money back, you wouldn't have taken on the risk of inflation wouldn't have affected the money, so you wouldn't have lost money from inflation. You're getting about the same pay you were getting when you were contributing initially. So that's the thought behind it. That's what they
Ideally,
want to take it from you. Yeah. So saving
ideally,
up the
and
pay.
if you get deep into it in a realistic, yeah, if you go deep into it in a realistic way, you can see that it's they're there to make money over a long period of time. Let us say 40, 20 to 40 years
Mm-hmm.
with minimal risk in order to keep the fund active and liquid enough to do any payouts and handle any fees along the way
Mm-hmm.
while maintaining not just the value of the contributions but also growing it. So they
Mm-hmm.
have to beat inflation every year, plus pay the
Let's
pension
pay some money.
managers,
Yep.
plus grow the rest of the portfolio. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why we see pensions are able to buy something crappy now at a crappy price because
Mm-hmm.
it's okay, we can wait the 15 years in which
We
time
will. Yep.
this buy is no longer a crappy buy,
Mm-hmm.
which is why pensions can do what a lot of people can't. No, tying it all back together. Why did we mention pensions in the first place? Um, if if the pensions didn't get as many stocks as they would like to get or need to get or want to get, then they have to buy it on the open market, which is after a list, which means that there's going to be heavy demand from people who have money, in this case, the pensions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so it's very important for us to know. I just remember when I started all of this. So it's very important for us to know what it is that the pensions got. Because in the event that all the pensions are like, oh, well, we got everything we wanted, then that cuts demand immediately. Not that there isn't still demand, but
Mm-hmm.
the big money people don't have the heavy demand.
Yeah. So I'm
And
looking at it
I've
now.
always been saying, look to Victor. Hmm.
Wait, so I'm looking at it now and it says all applicants in
Yeah.
this pool will receive full allotment based on transfers to the registered pension funds and ETA reserve pools. So, yeah, all the pensions that apply to the IPO, pension funds that apply to the IPO are fully allotted.
Hmm. But the
No,
wording
they
might
receive
be,
full allotment. So anything they applied for, they got it
oh
in
yeah, that's terrible.
yeah. But my consolation
In full.
is yeah. So my consolation is that they may not necessarily have applied it all they were hoping to get in the IPO. So the pool might not have been exhaustive
Hmm.
for why this is all the money all the pensions are willing to give to TransJam. So then it might be an average down, so it's a discount on whatever the market price is because generally pensions would apply to an IPO and not get everything. Because they have a special pool here for themselves, that's a guaranteed discount that they might get. There's a pool for themselves in order to work out. I'm getting a better allotment than if I was fighting for the shares with the general public, right? So that
I
thought,
agree.
so they might not have applied for all they could have gotten. They might have applied for and say, all right, so at this level, an average, when I buy on the market at a higher price, then out of a certain amount, a certain price, then I can average down. I already average on what I'm going to buy on the open market. So it's going to give me a better average price when I actually buy on the open market with whatever I have remaining. So there might be that. I've seen pension funds where they don't actually apply with all they want for the market on the market. They just apply with a certain amount, knowing that on the market I'm going because I know so I can't get everything I want in that. Yeah. So that may be consolation. Stuart South, a guy from Investing Group. He
Big up
mentioned
Stuart South.
yeah,
I've
big up
seen,
Stuart.
I met him both the place, and then of course I gather he's done that. I also saw him at, yeah. Big up Stuart.
Yeah, man. So he mentioned a good. He said he gave a good point that so pensions are generally split up into pooled funds and actual pension fund. So pooled funds will have restrictions on their buying. So generally, so sometimes pensions do. So pension managers what they'll do, they have a pooled fund for so they have a equity fund. So that equity they this fund buys own equity, this fund buys own bonds and whatever. And then when you go for a pension product, then the pension product, your pension portfolio would actually would just buy piece of a pooled fund that they have already. The pooled funds won't have restrictions on what they're buying. Get me?
Say that again. No, I
So,
don't. Repeat that.
so say good example, Sagicor. Sagicor is a pension product, right? And they have pooled funds.
Hmm.
So they have an equity pooled fund, a bond pooled fund, and whatever pooled fund for different asset classes. And then when you actually buying those pension product from them, so you go to them for a pension plan, and the pension plan, the nature of it is that you choose the allotment. So you want 15% in the equity fund, 10% in the bond fund. So every time you donate money, you'll be buying a piece of that fund instead of so they buy. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
So then your performance
Um,
of your pension plan will be based on the performance of those funds, and those funds won't have any restriction on how much of whatever asset class they can buy. Generally, sort of a equity pooled fund would just be buying equity heavily, and the pooled funds do not classify as registered pension, so they will not fall in this class because the fund itself isn't a pension,
okay, there we go.
so it can buy anything.
There we go. So my yeah, I understand that now.
So you have
Sorry
a
to cut
company,
that. So
right?
the thing that continue. Mm-hmm.
Say you have a company and your employee get a pension plan from your company, but it's managed by one of the pension fund managers, right? Then your company has a restriction. So there's
Mm-hmm.
actual restriction on the buying, generally, if it's a traditional pension fund. Very
Yes,
often,
they are restricted to a
mm,
specific
yeah.
percentage.
So, but very often, the pension product that is sold to companies or to individuals, it's based on the pooled fund approach. So, and the funds themselves would not, the pension that you have with your pension that buys into the different pooled funds wouldn't be actually buying the
Yeah.
actual IPO, but the pooled funds can go and go buy into the IPO. And the pooled funds are not registered pensions as seen here. So they would be applying in the general public, I, I would think.
And so you are hoping
Yeah,
that
I
some of
hope it
these
has.
funds, the pooled funds,
Mhm.
have not yet gotten what it is
All
that
they
they
can
want, and
get.
so
Yeah.
they might be providing a lot of. Okay,
Yes.
and I'm with you. So the reason why as interrupted a little earlier is because well, not interrupting, but what raised my eyebrows was when you said that was the second, which is just so we know they have restrictions from the government. So you don't want to registered as a pension. There's a
Mm-hmm.
limit on how many of a certain thing you can buy,
Yep.
and of
Only
course,
those people.
even below the government restrictions, you have BOJ restrictions in order to protect the US dollar to Jamaican dollar exchange rate.
Yeah, man. So thing that when you might
Because if the pensions want, they can
BOJ, FSC, yeah,
spike
BOJ
that
and
rate.
FSC, because the FSC regulates pensions. So you know, they say, oh, we have a law regulating it, and then the FSC as a regulatory body would put in a heavy restriction on what exactly they can do. So it's not illegal, it's just not necessarily illegal, but they can be fined or whatever for going above a certain thing there. Going beyond the mandate of the pension or whatever FSC mandates that they can actually go into whatever. So stuff like that. Cool. So the law might be different from regulation.
So, but
You see it sometimes, but regulation would hit you
what,
heavy.
what the law is different
The
from the
law,
regulation because the
yeah,
law actually allows them a lot more leeway
yeah, but the issue is
than they
that
actually get because of the regulation.
yeah, but the law itself gives power to the regulatory body. So it tells the FSC Act will tell you say, boy, guess what? FSC is here, and if you go beyond whatever FSC is telling you, you're actually in illegal zone. So you know the law gets sometimes.
Yeah, and then I know in finance is an industry of really people.
Yeah,
So
so you know that go.
you will always have people, yeah, boy, the risk, avoid, and so nobody pushes the envelope. And then occasionally have one or two people come along and then push the envelope,
Yeah,
and
define the yeah, man.
all of a
Define
sudden,
the yeah. So you know what that is. So the person who finds I don't want to say loophole, but it finds the error in the law where it allows what the person to make money in a certain way, right? Because so
hmm
the law doesn't regulate a certain thing
hmm
a certain way. You realize where there's opportunity in the fact that that specific thing is regulated like that. So you work out a plan to best make to best profit from that, and then so boy, you're not the guys that profited from that thing, and then everybody start doing it because it makes sense. More money make more sense, right?
I think so, and that's why you see all kind of interesting things. In fact, that might have been why that Canadian mortgage company chose to list in Jamaica
Equity line. Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, equity line, because then Jamaican pensions would be able to buy a lot more of it and participate in that IPO a lot more than they could if they were just buying the Canadian shares,
Right, those two.
because that would be overseas,
Yeah, so yeah, they open themselves.
right? There are things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I having a conversation actually in 2015 with somebody, and they were saying to me that there were two things. There are two things that they're saying. The point is that things were being created because of those specific regulations, the restrictions that the pensions were under, but the
Yeah,
money is
I
there.
think the
And
pool
then
from
no
approach because
surprise
we
then
came
why
from
you see, yes, but then the pool fund approach will not work if the rule is amended or if the rule says
yeah.
underlying security. You get me? So just
Mm-hmm.
because Danai has put together 30 of these equity things, it doesn't mean that I can buy into Danai heavier than I could those things, because the regulations might say, hey, the underlying asset of Danai's company is really
Yeah.
just equities to a certain level.
Yeah,
No,
so they find
you are
some
still
ways to go.
restricted from holding X amount.
Yeah. So if the
Yeah,
law
and that's
decides to
important to
leave
note,
out,
right? Because, yeah, and the law sometimes has to. In fact, the
no,
law should,
definitely. Yeah, it's
because that's what
protection.
happened with the yeah, with the mortgage crisis in the U.S.
Oh yes, the mortgage
That's what
backed
happened.
security sector. That's
They
exactly
didn't
what
they
happened. Yeah.
didn't
They found
yeah
somebody
they
found
didn't
a
go
loophole.
one layer below. Exactly. They didn't go one layer below to see what was behind the actual asset, what the derivative was a derivative of.
Exactly. So
And
your
that's
pension can buy that.
partially why, yes, and that's why Sir Michael Burry made a
Yes.
lot of money, because all he did was go one layer below to see, hey, what is this thing a derivative of and what's actually happening with those
Yeah.
things. That man is earning my respect in than I. More and more and
More
more,
and more, yeah, bits there. So we have yeah. Get to that in time
So to
when
tell
that.
people Michael Burry, who Michael Burry is, the simplest version I can tell anybody listening is, if you watch
What's
The
big
Big
short?
Short, he's the guy, The Big Short, the movie. He's the guy that the Big Short is about, and it's based on a true story, and the true story is Googleable once. Just go and Google it right now.
Those kind of
But
2008 financial crisis. How that happened.
yes, he's the guy who essentially before that
He's the first
crisis,
person
he
to
said,
uncover
"Hey
it.
guys, I think something's."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but he uncovered it before everybody, and he was
Yep.
saying, "This is crazy." And so his response into saying that it was crazy, if I can summarize for everybody, was that he controlled a fund, and it's his fund, so people invest in his fund, but he controls it, and he has ultimate control over his fund. And he took his fund and he bet against the entire market. Now, if you know anything about the U.S. market, there are certain things you don't bet against. Like you don't bet it's, you do not bet that the US financial system is going to go through a crisis, right? That is a sure way it is something that everybody knows it don't work. And when he did it, a lot of his fund people, and understand the people in his funds are rich people, really rich people, wealthy people who can say, all right, I'm going to give you $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Um, and of course, those people are like, hey, you're being crazy. What are you doing? This don't make sense. And he said, no, it makes sense to me. And they're like, no, this is crazy. And it went as far as they're like, okay, we're going to pull our money. And he, because it's his fund and the rules of the fund allow him to, said, no, I'm not allowing you to pull your money. I have made a bet. He did a short against that. That's the thing. He did a big short against the market. And it's a risky thing if you get it wrong. And he did it. And he held it right through. They actually sued him. The lawsuits are crazy. People send death threats, blah, blah, blah. And in the middle of all of that, boom, the derivative, the derivatives fell out. The market fell out. The
And you
financial
talk
crisis
about
of 2007 happened.
a 480 odd percent
Yes,
he made.
and
Crazy.
yeah, on couple billion. How much you have it in front of you? How much was what was his short? What was it? What was his portfolio size before?
I don't have actually in front of me. Michael Boy portfolio
All right,
size.
but people is billions of US. Yes, billions of US dollars, and he it worked out for him, as in. because he made a short, he bet that the market would be going down. He made a significant amount of money, and he made it on the money for the people who were saying to him that they're going to sue him. And the people were suing him. So, in other words, I am in court suing you because I think you're doing something crazy. And the crazy thing that he was doing has actually made them very, 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 very
It's
rich.
hilarious
What
because
is
what happened with the money he made them in a time when everybody else lost money. So he secured their future. He secured their livelihood during a period where everybody else's livelihood was good. So you couldn't get a house or rent, you couldn't even buy a house. But guess what? This guy just gave you millions of dollars. You're good. So yeah.
Yep,
House prices
yep,
house prices tanked
yep,
and people couldn't buy houses. It was that bad.
yep.
Yeah.
It was that bad. And and to understand this, because he was shorting the market, it means that he made money on the fall of the market. That's the next thing I want people to understand in this COVID thing. So we're dropping COVID gems on you same time. We're in an advanced market with advanced market tools such as shorting, which isn't really an advanced market tool. Shorting is literally centuries old. It is centuries upon centuries old. Um, oh, nice, yeah, but yeah, shorting does not exist in Jamaica officially, and Dana and I have been talking about wanting shorting. If you go back to some of our past episodes, we're talking about wanting shorting, and we have said, I love that I'm on record. I have said, if you truly believe that the JSC is going to correct in air quotes, is going to fall heavily in prices, then you should be begging for shorting from a long time. And we were saying that when the market never dropped yet. If it had existed, well, people like you and me would be making crazy money. Um, but it does not exist. And as a result, we're not making that money. Shorting is actually there to help you in situations like this. I say that because a lot of people see those headlines and them say, oh my God, the
Market down.
NASDAQ is down, record lows, the market down.
People
Understand that
short.
in the US, when the market is down, there is a crap load of people that are very, very, very
People
happy.
short the thing that the market every day,
Yeah,
Like people short for a 4% drop
yes.
just because 15% in a year in the
Ex-
US is good. So imagine. Ooh.
No, 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 sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. 5% in a US is
Yes.
a year in the US is good because you're ahead of inflation plus more. 10% is great. 15% is really good. Um, double digits is good.
Your double
Yeah,
digits.
and I want people to think about that because
It's funny, We
people
have
listening to this
in Jamaica we speak about the
have
double
not
digit
have
gains just because as a spectacle because the US has it as a spectacle.
yes, exactly,
Everybody presentation. We make double digit
exactly.
returns on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But you need to understand the market context. Shout out to Carpet God again, Nigel Clark, Dr. Nigel Clark. Um, that because he mentioned when he was at Stocks on the Rocks, one of the things, and I agreed with him, was that Jamaica needs to define its own. So what each of these things that are local, but also international, meaning like what does a 10% drop in America does not mean the same thing as a 10% drop in Jamaica.
Yep.
But we have not yet defined what a 10% drop means in Jamaica. When I say define it, I mean what we don't really know what's good and what's really bad, you know? I go back to that headline I saw the other day where it said Scotia pays its biggest dividend ever in its history, you know? And I smile at that because that's an example of a lack of financial literacy, you know. Because if you're really going off headlines like that, you could say NCB paid their biggest dividend ever, and you could say Carreras paid their biggest dividend ever, and because like NCB's dividend now is $1 every quarter. Um, they've never had a dividend at that level before, to
Exactly.
my knowledge. So it's their biggest ever, right? And they're paying out a percentage of their record profit. They've been making record profits for year after year after year. Um, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say other than you just have to understand that this is where we are in Jamaica, and it is for us to define. It's an exciting time. I'm sure a lot of people are going to define it. People are defining it, and there's going to be a lot more coming out, I'm sure. I remember talking to Simon and Company. I hear saying Simon and Company. I talking to Ivy, who's Simon Brethren. Big up Ivy Views on Twitter. Current FIFA master,
Yeah.
brother. The man that make me want to start play FIFA. Who tell me if I got no excuses? I'm not making excuses because my brethren that actually play FIFA with more often than not. Them know better. Them teach me that. No excuses. But I go play the man at an inopportune time. Start off nice. Jeez, you wept. I go find the right settings at the right time, meaning it whip me down to the ground, brother. Um, I mean, congrats to him. So he's the best at FIFA currently in finance Twitter until I decide to take back the throne. But big up him for that. But he and I were having a conversation, and because he's an economist and he's at a stage where he's defining a lot of the basic, in air quotes, economic things that are basic in other markets but have not yet been defined here. And we spoke about this also when we had Kirk on, who is also an economist, and has done some work, a paper on defining the movement of our market versus our T-bill, as a T-bill, off versus government paper. Um, so big up both of them for that. But yeah, this long-winded thing was just to say that in Jamaica, we need to start defining a lot of our things in our market and stop shouting down people in the market just because them don't agree with us. We need to look at what they're saying, judge it based on the tenets of it, and see where there's money there.
And not
Because a
because
lot of the things
America
that
said it's
we've
not so.
turned down. Say it again.
And not because America said means it. That's what you go here.
Exactly. Exactly. When I talk to my friends in the US, and my relatives in the US also, who know about investing and so on, they always come with like the most advanced market things, and I always feel so bad having to tell them, um, that's not quite how it works in Jamaica. Like, okay, I can what are my put options? I'm like, you can put your money in an account in Jamaica. You can go and buy stuff on the market. We're still at the pure stage of it.
Uh-huh.
Buy a business. If it's good, it makes profit. If people love it and buy it heavily, the share price will go up. If they hate it, the share or have any other reason, the share price will go down. But
Go.
but outside, sorry, I just clicking because that Shanice, top striker Shanice, who says she can join us. But
Uh-huh.
she said we might have to edit out everything when she done. But no, we're not going to edit it out. Top striker is joining us. She can tell us how it's been going. We're bringing it back to COVID. There we go. COVID, or as I like to call it, the coronavirus, the big dog.
Coronavirus!
Oh God,
Wow.
I'm really happy I did
Wow.
that. uh, there's somebody else I should big up. I don't remember her name, but I want to give her big up because I did that because she says she's
Ah,
always trying to push her son. And actually, you remember it? You know her name
I know there.
or her username?
I'm worse with names anymore, sir. That's
Oh Lord,
impossible.
I'm gonna feel
As
bad
you might
because I
not be.
don't have her name here. But she know it. She actually invite. She's one of the reasons why I went to Wolmer's and spoke because she invited me to go and talk to the fifth form group just about investing and getting them into it. Um, Thank you to her for that opportunity. I don't think that the kids actually had a great enough time because they couldn't hear me much. And fifth form, who gives a damn? And it was too big a group. However, I like that she's passionate about investing. She actually works for JMB, so big up her, big up her completely. I really feel bad. Andalte, that is her name on Twitter. Big up Andalte. And I'll remember it properly and I'll big her up completely. But she's into it and she's getting her son into it. Like slowly but surely. And so him start big up. So if I'm hearing right now, big up the tone. I hope you're in the car listening to this. Big up both of you. And it's because of her joke about her saying the coronavirus with the Cardi B voice. Why I said, let me do the same thing. So big up her for that, for influencing the podcast and influencing her son. And I know I have a prize to come give. I have not forgotten, even though we're in this time of corona. But I
Coronavirus!
do remember that I do have a prize to give the winning class from from Woolmers. Yo, I want to tell you something funny that night. Only one class took it serious, but they're young, they started out, so they trade back and forth. They never really make much money. Another class heard that I was giving a prize. I've given them a little bit of money for whoever won. I think it's 50 grand. But they say it's going to be they're never really interested. They're not really interested. So here what them do. Buy something one time, it go up, sell it, and then just leave the money.
Need the money.
Cash is acquisition. So they end up beat everybody.
Oh gosh.
They never pay attention to the competition. They never do nothing, but
So you're
they
making
end up
money.
beat everybody.
Hmm. That's funny. Wow.
It that boom. So
Hilarious.
them sell and then don't care about it. But when the time come, when the time was up, they ended up winning
Mm-hmm.
because even though they never do nothing, they never research, they never pay attention, nothing.
Made that money.
At the end of the day, them have the most money, and I can't fault them for that.
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious, actually.
Yes, it is hilarious. They never learn it, and so you feel bad like that because you want to give the class that did the work, that put together all the research, that went and traded a couple of times, but you also can't change the rules after you start, right?
Uh-huh. No
So
movie goalposts.
when you start is when you there you go. You can't move the goalpost. So you know what that mean now. Somebody, mostly me, have to go find two prizes to, to go give one the rightful winning team who won based on the rules, and give the second team who hardest workers, I should say, who maybe learned the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's only fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the sort. I'm happy that they're interested. I'm happy every time I can get a young crop of young people interested in investing from now, because as you know, as I know, it changes your entire life. No matter what
Trust
you
me.
want to do, you don't have to
Yep.
become an investor. You don't have to stick to this, but it helps you in every single
Yep.
realm.
It's very far reaching.
Uh, yes, but I don't even know how far we got from this tangent. So you think that TransJamaica is going to rise a little bit, but may not really stay up there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we go far we came from. Or expectations on
I
transformation.
know what we went really far from it. Yeah, but I'm bringing
But
it back
as is
because I don't
normal
want people to
with
say
this,
we're gone
with,
too
with this
deep.
conversation, with this podcast.
Yeah, we do go on our tangents all over.
It's a good thing you love us despite it, right? So
Yeah,
thank
is
you.
that a good thing? That what?
Because the listeners love us despite the tangents. They like the tangents actually, so it's fine.
Yeah, I hear people tell us that the tangents are the best part, and I think they
Yeah.
understand that.
Uh-huh.
That the tangent really is a conversation. That's where a
Yep.
lot of the value is.
Hmm.
But that's not to say that we shouldn't stay on message. So you think that it's not necessarily going to do great? I am still up in the air. Let me be real. Let me pick a side. Let me jump off the fence.
Shit.
Um,
The thing is that
hmm,
that's a valid answer, to be honest. I know we
what's
don't like
that?
to do
Staying
it.
on the fence?
Not to say I don't know, but I understand the need for you to pick a side, but I don't know is actually a pretty valid answer to everything. Saying you don't know is a point of okay, learn from this. I need to look at it more. There's some information I haven't put in my mind that I probably just need to observe whatever is going to happen
Hmm.
because too much variables in the air. But I understand where you're coming from, where you want to
Yeah,
actually give the listeners a okay, I will pick a side. Even though, to be honest, I don't know.
yeah.
I'm
And the
just
truth is,
what I think might just happen.
yeah,
What I most think will happen. But to be honest, I don't really know what's going to happen.
exactly. Um, for me, it's twofold. I don't have a problem, as you know. I don't have an issue at all saying that I don't know, because the truth is we don't know. We never know. It is all a guess,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's an educated guess.
Yes,
I
yes.
would try to get we try to get it as educated as possible, but it still is a guess at the end of the day. Having said all of that, however, I have been hard on the industry because I want them to take positions. I want them to guess. I want them to guess and guess openly, and then speak about that open guess, and then go on to measure against that guess. And I don't think people understand how much of the industry doesn't do that. But this is not industry beating up episode, right? This is a coronavirus episode in the same coronavirus series.
Coronavirus!
Thank you, Cardi. So, so in light of that, I should bring in. I know I was saying something a while ago, but I'm dropping it completely because we do have the top striker here with us, Shanice. Welcome,
Okay, Shanice is
Shanice.
there. Shanice, hold on. Yeah.
So, where were we? Hi, guys. Sorry, you'd have heard a nice little break there just now. We have joining us the one and only top striker who you've heard us talk about all the time on the show, Shanice, the person who beat both of us last year in terms of investing. What was your return last year, Shanice?
It was
2019?
276%, 276.
Up. And when did you start investing?
I started investing probably a little after Danai, like around 2017, probably the end of 2017 is when I started.
Yes.
Wow. So you just start. But
No,
you're
no,
making
just
200
was.
but you are, of course, in a finance-related field.
I am not at all.
You're not really.
I studied the sciences and I work in the science field.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, this is all new to me.
Wow. Well, 2 years in, is it still new to you? Because you're beating Dana, you're beating me. And I happen to know that it's not accidental you beat us, yeah? That's the beautiful part. It's not like you did just lucky and pick something.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
had to be several lucky picks.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I am so happy to hear that because I know you know the struggle now of how hard it is to be lucky, especially consistently lucky. It take a whole lot of work. Yeah. Yeah, big up Dre, attacking Dre. I don't know what Dre's name on Twitter is, and I think it's attacking
Brando
Dre.
attacks.
Brando attacks, the bad man from Balaclava. But he said, the boy said to me, say, yo, you have a good for lucky, and he's 100% right. Shanice, you know the amount of work that goes into it now, being lucky.
Yeah.
However, what we're talking about on this episode is, other than cussing about stuff that we shouldn't waste our time cussing about, we're also talking about gains, and gains during a time of COVID, you know, the coronavirus.
Ooh.
Coronavirus!
Big up Cardi.
Big up Cardi all the time.
Yeah, so Shan, well, then I was saying that, you know, you did something that he and I have done over the years and we're still doing. Well, we should still do, but admittedly, well, at least I drop off a farm through being busy and being lazy. And I think then I said, also, well, not lazy, but then I said busy, work, taking brewery. But you've been doing some of those aggressive plays, the ones that we don't usually talk about.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of those aggressive plays, especially with how the market is set up right now. Yeah. That's really the only way that you're going to be making money with the way things are right now. Wow. Because everything is basically at a discount. Almost everything.
What is not a discount? You said that. And guys, if you hear the sound off, it's because, again, we're all being compliant. We're remaining socially distant. Is that the right term? Am I
yes, sir.
Social distancing. Yes,
social distancing. Social distancing is different from being socially distant, you know. One is social distancing is a directive from the government.
And social distancing is what your girlfriend complain about.
Wow. Wow. Drag me like that.
Not my girlfriend, your girlfriend, sir.
Yeah, I said drag me like that. Watch me edit all of this. Anyway, so Shanice, you say you're making aggressive gains. The only thing you can see yourself making right now based on how the market is. But it's funny. You're not complaining about the market. You thought you'd be complaining that everything is down.
I'm not complaining at all. I'm properly enjoying the way the market is right now.
Wow.
You don't complain in profit, right?
Can't complain in profit for real.
Exactly. So
it's like, oh my God, I'm making all this money.
So at the start of the call, you would have heard this. When I started the call, I was talking to Danai about how weird it is that we who actually make money in the market, like we don't actually like talking about it. And you talk
No.
so you talk to Danai, you know like some of the things that Danai do in terms of making gains. And you know you also listen to the show, so you know we don't say on the show.
Yeah.
So on the show, we tend to be very straightforward, but we tend to not touch certain things because we don't want anybody to feel alienated, right?
I get that.
Yeah, then I will tell you that it's not this last recording, it's recording before the last one. I legit said to him, so hold on, the market down? Because I never really know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy. How can you not know that the market is down? Because, again, I'm quoting Danai from this show, we don't buy the market. We buy specific stocks.
True.
So the market went down. I mean, I knew that the market was down after all because people talking about things here and then the headlines go out. But I never really know at first because unless something that I am holding go down, we never really see it. You get me?
Yeah.
Then we went into talking about how the market got to where it is. Then I made an excellent point, which I think we're going to come back to in another episode, which is where we're talking about what people look at, what they actually look at and what's actually happening in the market. I said to Danai, when we were trying to get you on the call, I said to Danai that one of the things that I expect to happen in the future is that a lot of people are going to talk about how the coronavirus caused the market to dip. And the nuance of understanding that the market dipped long before coronavirus.
It did.
The market dipped in my opinion, as a result of TransJamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The second people had an actual go date, people started to pull money very quickly from everything else in order to go into that.
Yeah, and you saw it. Like you saw it immediately.
Yes, literally immediately, the day after.
Literally.
And you see from the big things. The one that you can always use to test the temperature of the market is NCB.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's
I
selling
use
down.
NCB and I also use JMMB.
Yes, JMB is a good second. I actually have been using JMB heavily too. JMB, funny enough, I also think JMB is going to lead the resurgence because they're going to be an undeniable thing. But I could be wrong.
I'm definitely with you there.
Yeah, well, see that the top strike, I agree. You know, the top strike, I agree. I do just think JMB is just going to be a great win for everybody involved. And if people have been paying attention, I could have it wrong, but I think about $30 million worth of JMB has been crossing the market over the last few days from insiders. And when I say insiders, I mean people who have to report their trades. If you notice, the people on the board or the connected parties have been buying up JMB shares heavily over the last few days. Almost every day you see one. I think today there was 314,000 shares or 312,000 shares that crossed the market. What JMB closed the day at today?
It is $35.90.
Below APO price.
Below the APO, right? So speaking about below the APO price, those people who bought access. Ouch.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Ouch.
Big hit.
Ouch. You know, I have people who ask me about buying access, and I said to them, I mean, you know, like your friends ask you how you feel. The usual thing what I'm trying to hear, and I go and say without asking me directly and pretending that they're not going to listen to it and try and follow it. Big up them. But I said to them, I'm not buying because I'm not necessarily enthused by it, and I think that where it is right now at the time it was overvalued, and the prospects for the company, the growth prospects are good, but not like astronomical, you know. And that was when it was at 30 or 40 odd, I think, or it had touched 40, but it was being sold for 30 odd. Now it closed the day at what? Is it at $20 now? Do you guys know?
It's at $18.46.
Wow. Wow. I know one guy who two things I said to him I never listen. It and the Proven. Proven I had a more nuanced take on at the time, and I still stick to Proven I expect big things from now, but access at the time, I'd said, boy, I don't know about it. Him say, I trust him, team, I do it, I talk to him, advise, him have a couple advisor friends, him have to say, I talk to them, and then I go in. And I think he went in. I think he went in heavy too. And he went in from this sale. So he went in from the proven sale. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers go to him. Yeah.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah.
But
well,
I find in this time I'm finding things it's hard for things to be overvalued anymore. Like if you look at the PEs of a lot of these companies, like everything either level out or we are below them are below regular market value. Like only a couple things holding on the high.
Yep.
Like ISP that can't really trade more than so it always fall heavily.
Yeah, ISP have the protection of being closely held.
What's crazy to me though, Virgin PE, looking at Mayberry sheet, 87.48 PE and 11.96 price. That's close to the buyout price.
Woo!
And the PE is so high. Says Virgin, boy, it's actually disappointing where they are right now, from where they're coming from.
Well, you don't expect like an earnings surprise from them?
No, I just remember during the buyout period what was happening with the company, the trajectory they had at the time, but the post buyout switch up, the numbers started looking very depressed. Right? The earnings haven't been great. Yeah.
Well, they might have an earnings surprise. According to the same Mayberry sheet, there seems to be an expectation of them coming in with heavy earnings over the next few reported quarters, maybe the next one or the one after that. And I could see some of that. There's something in Berger that I should remember from like my personal use, where I remember like when this pass, the effect is going to be blah, blah, blah. I don't remember what it was. I think I do expect them to have better profits now, but again, not better profits to justify where they are. I don't know if they'll be good enough to justify their price, kind of like how that as scrambling, trying to find a way to justify Fontana being worth $8 or more than $8. And with Fontana, then no, that's another one. My God, $3.99.
Mm-hmm.
What? Hold on.
Wow. Blessings.
Wow.
From blessing season, the earnings season, the blessing season.
Blessing season. Hallelujah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fosrich too. Fosrich below IPO price. I saw a tweet saying that today.
Geez.
244. What did the IPO at?
What the 2? That'd be at 2. I know GUS has 250.
So I think 2 or 250.
GUS has 250, so I think this is 2. No,
it was 2, yeah. Fosrich was 2.
Or it traded below IPO price.
And it traded below it. I mean, that somebody today decided to sell below IPO. Somebody just want to get out. And right? Watch me now bring full circle to a conversation that you weren't here for, Shanice, but I want to wrap that one, which was the question I asked Danai was, TransJamaica. We know that it lists tomorrow on the market, and I was asking Danai what he thinks the initial reaction is going to be. He was saying that he doesn't think it will do anything crazy. It might spike and then come out. I had almost started to give my take on that, and then we got distracted and then we brought you in. But I'll say my take and then I'll ask you yours, Shanice. I just expect it to. It's kind of the same. I hate saying the same thing that Danai said, but it's kind of the same. I don't know. There's a point in there that Danai had made where he had said that the refunds come back in terms of the people who didn't get everything that they asked for. And so some of it will go back in the market. But Danai, I don't know. I think right now if you give somebody cash, then keeping it in cash.
Yeah, keeping it, yes, I think so.
Yeah, because if that were true, I think a lot of these high-level things would have been bought up already.
Yep.
A lot of things that are so great would have risen. Instead, I mean, NCD is still a slide.
Yeah.
JMMB still a slide, 35.90.
And look at the thing there, the fact that the pensions got all they wanted, so none of the refunds went to them. So it's all public money. So I can say I was a very good case of people saying, let me keep the cash.
Yeah. Yes. So I was saying to Danai that I don't know if it's really going to go into the market, but
I don't think most of it is.
yeah, I don't think so either. But who knows? Maybe somebody will go, yo. I mean, okay, if I sold my NCB at $200 to buy TransJamaica, I got, what was the percentage? I got $1 million worth. So I sold 3 million NCB. Big money we're talking here now. So 3 million NCB. I put 3 million into TransJamaica. I only got $1 million of what I asked for, and I get the 2 million back. I might be tempted now to buy 2 million worth of NCB because at 152.78, if I sold at 200, at 152.78, I'm looking at it's 76% cheaper. That's a nice discount.
Yeah. Crazy.
But it's so funny. It takes bravery, although I didn't think it would, but it actually does. It takes bravery and apparently foresight to think of NCB that was good 3 months ago at 200 being still great.
Wait,
no.
76%?
Right. Well, no, it's 76% off, so it's 24%.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, 24% lower. I don't understand why people wouldn't necessarily see that, but I do understand that they don't necessarily see that.
What's real to them isn't all NCB, right? No, what's real to them is like a money out of the market because of whatever is happening. After them, and the panic, you know how that goes. So you see it falling, so in the rational thought isn't okay, so this is worth of the world. The rational thought really is everybody's leaving, so I might as well leave with them because I don't want to be the bottom. I don't want to be the last to leave. So
exactly. The herd runs, and you have to understand the less financially literate you are, is the more you react to herd mentality. And so
you can have an opinion for yourself.
Yeah,
it's really what everybody is doing. As far as you're concerned, the guy beside me is more informed.
Yes, or just the straight
more reasonable.
Base fair. No, the thing with TransJamaica is it's probably going to be the stock, or it is the stock with the most, or will be the stock in my opinion with the most retail investors. And we know pensions push the market and hold the market, and the big companies, the houses also do the same. But retail investors like you and me actually define the market. Yeah, and I say that because if it has the most retail investors, if it fly, that's great. But it could also have the most selling pressure ever. You could have more people going, yo, I just want to get out. And I suspect that that might happen because I think it will hit the 30% tomorrow, the 30% day one.
Well, at least 15. Well,
yeah.
After that is a mad rush. And you might have like an intraday recovery, so like it's tanking, and then somebody decides to buy it up. So it recovers like for a couple of minutes, 30 minutes, and then you see it again down. So maybe a matter of to the bottom. And we already discussed what kind of heavy selling pressure this fair, because amount of money in there. People exiting hard.
Yes.
So,
I see people exiting hard as well.
And bear in mind that people got large allocations, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, the reason I use a million on my example just now is because if you applied for $1 million worth or less, you would have gotten your full allocation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or if you applied with as a e-tag customer. So if you applied as an e-tag customer, you get everything. I think a lot of people got a lot of what they applied for, and I think a lot of those people don't know anything about stocks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Market terrible. No, they're probably looking at it and seeing, they're hearing about everything else falling and wondering what's going to happen in my TransJam share when it actually is. So they already have decisions to sell from jump. But why I think it will actually hold for a small amount of time, because nobody gets up and says, remember those 80% loss that I might, that if I wait a week I get it. So maybe I'll try to put the money on it to actually try to sell it higher. And then when people actually start selling out heavily, that's when you get into the plunge.
Yeah, all right. So two things. All right. So I hear that, but I think you're underestimating fear. A lot of these people, are you overestimated how much these people know? A lot of these people don't know nothing. Them hear on news that US market sinking, all of these sinking, JC has sink to say it's not just there, is online. And if you it is local, and you know that if you talk to a local person, a local investment industry, chances are you hear the same thing. Boy, everything bad, things bad, rough, you probably gonna hear the same thing from them. So imagine yourself as the regular person who have $400,000 that then trying this thing because you're my miss week time, but may I try this. And then in between the little time where you say you're trying, because you save up the 400,000, you put it in, and then in the time that you put it in and at least everything was going good, boom, coronavirus, market drop. Matter of fact, the market dropped before and then coronavirus.
Yeah.
No coronavirus like you, and everything a fly downwards. And the people in what I look to, when I check Twitter, said I'm talk about them look like them scared too. Everybody afraid. And then here comes the government going, boom, here's your refund of X amount. But if I never have that much, I just have 300,000, so I got everything I wanted. So tomorrow morning, I was saying, again, we're saying this before at least. So tomorrow morning is going to be the first chance that you have to access that 300,000 that you put into the stock market thing, the stocks thing. I think they're going to run. I think a lot of them are going to run. But what I'm banking it against also is that a lot of them might not even know how to run. Them don't know nothing about it. They never even know it at least. So I think we might have a good first day. You might get the 30% up day one. But you see they get...
JC's announcement was on, it's on your site, or is it on Twitter only?
Well, you know, JC's there already. I don't know if it's on the site. I don't think them usually put it on them site.
It's not on the site.
It's not on the site, on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
It's usually just on Twitter that they post it for some reason.
I know most Jamaican do this also.
Jeez, you wept. Well,
I'm not sure what's their rationale with only posting those things on Twitter.
Not sure either, I guess. That's it, TJH sent them.
No, I remember them doing something like,
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, big up JC. So I think what's going to happen is that he's going to list tomorrow. He might get the 30%. Now, this is the assumption that the pensions truly have, and the pensions and the big guys have what they want. Now, if the big enough guys do not have all that they want and they're still trying to buy up more, then we might see some sustained volumes coming out of it. But what I think could happen is that even if the big guys want buying what they want, well, no, because they're going to buy in bands. So even if the big guys buy what they want, I don't know nothing about this stocks thing. I never know say it list tomorrow because I'm not on Twitter. So that means tomorrow it lists and it hit the break of the 30% up. But on the news is when I'm going to hear about it. And that's when things get different. So I watch news tonight, the Wednesday night after a list, and I hear it say TransJamaican list. It went up 30%. Also Wednesday is the business news day. So there's going to be articles in the newspaper about it. There's going to be people on Twitter talking about it. There's going to have people on Instagram and so on talking about it. You're going to hear it up 30% in the same newscast that you hear how many other things drop. And you're also going to hear that US markets are still draining because you're going to hear that coronavirus is at its greatest rush in America right now because it's going to be more testing, blah, blah, blah. Jamaica now up to 21 cases, yada, yada, yada. It's all fear. You see the fear? And here is $300,000 that I put in, and it's no longer $300,000, right? It's no what? 390,000? Did I get that right, Dana?
30%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 390,000, and I am able to pull out that. May I take it now, and it up. May I take it now? So I think day two, the breaker might fly downwards. I don't know how many people are. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to go, yo, let me wait it out. I think I'm going to go, yo, 30%, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so my real issue with it going up, so I can say with that rationale, my issue with going up is who will buy it up.
Who's going to buy it up on day one, that's true.
So yeah, you put it out there, so you put it sell out there and hope that God says that somebody take that. And then it might be a fight to the bottom from there, so you know that go. you're hoping, and then a man hoping to, and you're trading in front of him, say, put a lower sell, and then go start race to the bottom with the sales. So that can happen. So if somebody don't buy quick enough, then gonna have some losers.
Jeez, you wept. Shanice, what do you think will happen?
I think we're going to see a little rise on day one. I don't know if I want to even put it at 30%. It's going to hit the breaker. I think it's going to hit the breaker. But it might actually start trending down on day one because a lot of people want cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people that I spoke to or that told me that they were going into it wanted a quick flip.
Yeah, man.
For some reason.
For some
reason. A lot of people wanted it.
You know the reason.
Well, a lot of people wanted it. So as it comes to the market, people are going to be trying to sell to get that quick flip. And who is going to buy it is a very good question.
I mean,
especially at a premium with the situation in the market right now.
You know, you're right. I thought of day one, but I never think even beyond day one, meaning not beyond day one, within day one. I think you're right. It might hit the breaker in the first hour. I'll come back to why I think it hit the breaker in the first. But then after, you see, once the breaker free up, selling pressure. Yeah. Wow.
Like the sell queue is going to be full.
Yes. And
you're going to have a few people trying to buy some.
And right now, if I ran a big fund, if I ran a pension, I would not buy unless I have a little directive. I would not buy. I would wait. Because we're going to have to buy the fund anyway. I will wait.
And you know it's going to fall.
Yeah. Wow. And it's so funny because TransJamaica is actually great. But even
it's a
funnier,
good company.
Well, you know what? Hey,
especially for pension fund.
Yes, specifically for pension funds. Actually, so it's a sort of thing on which you can build a huge legacy, which is why I think JMB and NCB put so much energy into it. Wow, day one might be very interesting for real. I never thought of that. Thank you, Top Striker. You might have saved me a lot of money.
We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, but you know it's so funny. I don't know if you use Danai, but for me, like the we'll see thing, it's a kind of like inside joke because the we'll see. Like we'll see is for people who not really into it. For me, I'm into make it happen. You get me? Meaning I act against it. And I do have. Did you guys apply for any?
I didn't apply, no.
I did.
You did, Danai?
Yep.
I did also. I applied as a toll. I had an e-pass person, so I got my full allocation. But
Corona came out swinging on me still, so.
Swinging.
But to me, the path was, to me, it looked like every again and whatever. And then Corona did this thing. My first signal against it was behaviour, right after the TransJamaica closed. Looked up his APO, so I was like, so we have a place for the refunds to go to, so it might not come back to the market and go back to TransJamaica buying. But Corona did this thing and just erased my thought about what can actually happen. So I thought I thought this hour it could be gaining, but no, it might not look so good because I can see people looking to hunt it on the low.
We can get that first trade tomorrow.
Shanice, you know my style.
Early out.
I still boast about me being the guy that sold signals, I was one of the only sellers of signals before it fell.
Yeah, you got in on day one.
Got in, got out, and then watched it tank.
Yeah, man. There's a 2 day one people. I remember him and my boy from 876 investor who got select F at the 70. He's the one person who got it at the 70-something%. And well, not one person, but he was one of the few. And
I sold my select F at a pretty good price as well. I think I was up about 60%.
Wow.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. And you say you start a little after Danai. So from
This is
2017,
a good year to start.
it looked that way. 2017 must have been a hell of a year to start. But okay, the thing that we brought you on here for, Shan, and I don't want to go too long because we've been doing long episodes and we're trying to manage that now. But having said all of that, for you, what is your current play? Like, what are some current plays you had? Like I spoke in that episode, the first coronavirus episode, about the Pulse play, where Pulse gave off a nice 30-odd%. Even if you buy it the Friday, you get 30-odd% if you sell it
Yeah,
the
with the
Monday.
splits.
Yes. And that only works obviously if you had shares before. So anybody saying, no, there's a T+2. Yes, we know there's a T+2, but it requires obviously volumes from before. What kind of other plays like that are you seeing? What you're willing to share that you've done, what you've done in the past, I should say.
All right, so I've been doing some very short-term plays. Some short-term, I'd say average 20%. It's very risky, very dangerous. Wouldn't advise people to do it, but it can be done. With how the market is right now, you can look at the queues. They're very scanty, especially if the buy queue is very scanty. I look for a price that would chip the breaker, and I set that price.
Wow.
When it fills, the stock halts. As soon as the stock is back trading, I sell the stock at about 20%.
Yeah, you're
because
right.
it will automatically fly back to there, because the price that I got it at was very low. It was unrealistically low. But people want to get out of the stock because people want cash now. So they're going to sell to the person that's buying volumes that they want to sell at. And when it
How
opens
do you
back,
pick these stocks?
the stock is going to go right back up.
How do you choose which ones to do it to?
Yo, she's so right. You know, before you said that, I am definitely, I am editing the whole of this. I'm joking.
It's
No, say that.
I choose, wait, go ahead, Dana.
I mean, she look at the money in her pocket and then somebody get her like, so what she's doing is wrong.
Yeah, that's
So yeah,
risky.
man, it's risky.
Of course. Say it again.
There are a lot of people that speak against day trading.
Yeah,
But
right?
I mean, I'm not going to complain about the profit that I'm making.
That is heavily risky, though. Say it again for the people.
It's heavily risky.
What somebody tell you that it's not going to last forever, as if you don't know that. But okay.
They can say that, but I've been doing it a couple times, and I don't just do it off the top of my head. I see it done.
Mm-hmm.
There was I'll put the Cygnus one. Cygnus, when it was going down, when it just started going down, I think Cygnus hit about $18 and everybody was freaking out. And then it came back and it went right back up to $21. It did it about twice. And I remember I went to my bed that night and I'm like, yo, this can't miss me tomorrow. I have to go into that tomorrow. So I liquidated all of my stocks. I sold everything before I could lose out on it. With the exception of about 2 companies.
Wow. Let me get
so I liquidated.
Cash in position.
Yo. You sure you never do finance?
I didn't do finance, no.
But how could you know this?
I just wasn't about to lose, and I saw where it was going. I saw JMB for a while, because as I told you earlier, JMB is one of those stocks that I look for people to sell when they want to go into something else. Because a lot of people have a lot of it because of the APO. So I got out of JMB. I saw Cygnus heading down. I sold all my Cygnus. A couple of my other stocks, and I kept 2. So with the money that I had now, I was very liquid now. I would put all of that. I put all of that into Cygnus at 18. I put an order for Cygnus at 18. It failed. It halted. it immediately came back and sold at, what did it sell at? It was sell at around 21. And immediately I'm out. It went back to 18. I am back in with the money that I just made from it.
In other words, you you get to buy it at what the difference in that was it the big price? I know the 18 was the other price.
21.
21
Is it so?
and 18. That's 16. That's 16. That's 17. 16.6. They take fees out of it. What were your broker fees, Shan?
0.75.
0.75? 0.75?
Yeah.
All right, that's smart. So you even smart. There we go. So you're doing high level plays. You understand what you need there. You need immediacy and you need low fees. So your fees less than a percent. I'm going to take off. Let's say you got 15% or 14. You make 14% there on a simple play.
On a simple play.
Mm.
And then I went back in and I did it again.
Word. On which one? On the same
on the same stock.
Word.
And then around that time, Cygnus had a dividend that they were going to pay. So I also collected the dividend.
Yeah, and by and by around this time she's talking about, I thought when this is what last week Monday, because based on the same every Mickle calendar. You use every Mickle calendar, Shan?
No, I didn't know that there's an every Mickle calendar in his. When I listened to the last episode, I realized that you had that.
Yeah, if you click.
But I have my own calendar though. I have a list of all the dividends that are about to come out, and I make my plays around the X date.
I like that. I did listen to that. Listen to the listen. I am so happy that you're here to say it, Shan. Know that people are going to think that we told you to do it. To say
No.
or but you learn it. I mean, granted, let me take my props because you have been to grower.
I've been to a grower.
So yeah, but it's just it's obvious to me that there's so much money here, and it doesn't require heavy amount of thinking or anything deep. And like you said, you had the calendar already. It's the same reason I had the calendar, you know? And I said, let me share it with everybody. So my calendar now has all of that in it. So it has all of the declared dividends. And then I add in other things, you know, so things like AGMs and when results are due, so on and so forth. Because you know how we actually invest based on event-based investing. Exactly what you said. Like, if you know that something is going to happen that affects a company positively, it's perfectly fine to invest with that in mind. It is not rocket science. But if you're not saying the same things everybody else saying in the same way, people vex with it. But I like it. So you made 16% on a single play, and then you go back.
It was actually 21.9. I'm looking back at my JTrader sheet right now.
Yeah, man. Make your coins, man. Okay, 21.9. Which pushes you up to 21.6% if we say 1.6 out for fees, we say both sides of the fees. You're looking at 20% same way. Damn. And you did it twice.
Yeah.
So you've done in a week. You've done something in a week that gave you 66% of the entire market's movement last year on each leg of it. And then you know my thing already. 3 turns of 20% is more than 100%. Or is 100%.
Yes, sir.
Here, everybody. Yeah. No, watch me get that wrong immediately.
It's 3 or 4.
What's it? 4 turns is definitely, but I don't remember if 3 is also there.
4 is definitely. 3 is not.
3 turns are 20%. Correct. It is not. It's 72%. Yeah. Well, Christ. And Shan, for you, if you only did 2 turns of it, so you only made 44% in a week. In the middle.
You know, when everything is done, and you know,
that was actually one day.
Whoa, my God. And I am here quarreling with people on Twitter. We need a box down to write it. One day, exactly.
And the thing is, these plays are happening every day. Every day you see something like that happen.
Every single day.
Yesterday,
like I said to Danai,
Sagicor.
Go ahead.
Sagicor went to $43 and then went up to $50.
Hmm.
And that was heavy volumes.
I think there's a Scotia dividend date past it.
No, man, it don't
No,
pass it.
it's today. No, it was the Wednesday. It's the same day as TransJamaica. I think the X date for it. I think.
No,
Let me not get that wrong.
I think it's at the end of this month. So Scotia is on my list also.
Yeah, Scotia has make sure I get this one right. So today is the 24th, and Scotia has their X date.
Yes, the 30th.
The 30th is their dividend?
Their X date.
So the 31st is their dividend payment?
Yeah, their record date.
The record date for the dividend payment. And guys, if you don't know what that means, check the show notes. You'll see a link in there explaining X date and record date. But record date in this case is just the date of record. The date, anybody who is a shareholder on that date gets to participate in the dividend. I just wanted to be sure because I'm not seeing it on my calendar here.
Today is the X date for JC.
Yes. I'm not seeing Scotia at all. That needs to be added. No problem. So Scotia have a dividend coming in. And what dividend is it? What's the yield on that dividend?
55 cents.
55 cents at current prices. 55 cents at Scotia's current prices. If they're close to that 39.55.
Wow.
So that's a 1.3% dividend yield. Well, no, you have to take the 15% out of it. So that's actually a 1.1% dividend yield. And at your low buy and sell price, you essentially can, if you're buying and if you stay in or if you're already in, that's a 1% dividend for you. Now, I've always said that I don't care about dividends, but free money is free money. Yeah. And when you're making the plays like yours, this is important because this can pay. Worst case scenario, this pays for itself.
Exactly. And I'm not usually a dividend person either. It's just recently.
Yeah. Go ahead, Danai.
I'm just laughing. Don't worry with me.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Continue, Shanice.
Say that again, Danai. The internet took
Continue, Shanice.
Yeah. I've said the same thing, Shanice. I'm not a dividend person.
I'm rich for them. What?
After a while, when you see it, you're like, yeah,
exactly.
So then I stop walk out, I'm friend them rich about dividend.
You cracked up a while ago, didn't I? What you said a while ago?
I was saying it's weird so I'm gonna stop walk foot. All my friend them invest with dividends, get rich and switch.
Oh my God! So you just decide to join all of us and buy a car?
Is there any bought a car?
Oh God! Right? Oh God! Here we go.
What are you saying? I never heard it.
But you're right. I know the feeling, Shanice. I know the feeling. You don't really care about dividends, but you're in a stock and it's send a big dividend come here. You're like, wow, okay.
It's nice. I'll take it.
Right? You know, I have a nice dividend. No, a nicer dividend. Well, I want to say NCB, but you have to hold it for the year, I think. At 159, is that how much is that right now? NCB is at 152, 152.78. A $1 dividend at 152. I mean, it's still too low for just one quarter. But if you hold that for the whole year, you get $4, and you're looking at a 2.6% dividend. And then of course you take the tax out of it. So it's not big, right? But if you have big money, it makes a whole heap of sense. And at least for me, why dividends start to be attractive is sometimes you're on the day, it's a good little play, and you manage to just be on a record date, and oh great, you get 10 grand, you get 50 grand, 50 grand is nice, but 5 grand is also nice as a light bill.
It is. Like if I say $5,000, I'm very happy.
Yeah. NC every 3 months NCB pays one light bill for me. that's simple. It's the truth. Every 3 months NCB pays one light bill for me. Cygnus has been paying more than a light bill. Don't deny. Don't deny.
Wait, say. I'm hearing you.
Oh God. But Shanice, I'm proud. I'm happy to hear somebody else doing this. And also, Shanice, you know a lot of women who invest. I don't know any other women doing what you're doing.
I don't. Well, the group now has a good number of women who seem to be, doing well with what they do.
Sound better than men. Sound better than the men.
Yeah, man, the group is coming up with a lot of women. So I think we're getting there.
Yeah, but specifically for that group, I had always wanted it to be a place where women could feel comfortable going and coming through. So I'm not surprised about that. But I noticed outside of any place where it's like specially curated to involve women and have them included, you don't hear a lot of it. You hear a lot of either the pandering or it's just a whole heap of man talk. Or sometimes you hear a whole heap of man talk and you see two women there and then just silent. You would chat too much. It's a fact.
That's the thing.
He said on his weekly podcast. Oh my God. But yeah, it's a weird thing to me because I think women are damn good at it. I don't know anybody else doing what you do, meaning being
as aggressive.
Yeah. But I do know women investors that are damn good.
Yeah.
I just want to see more because I'm very interested in seeing what happens when more women start to make them voices heard and make them voices, them money heard on the market. Because you don't have to talk and your money talk loud enough. I know you tell us a while ago says when you sell Cygnus it drop come 17 and make the whole away dead. The rest of us who are still in die. I also wonder a lot about the effect on all the things that we have coming to the market. Then I mentioned earlier what happened with the APO with Proven's APO right after TransJamaica early closure, I think, or after it closed. But no, Corona mashed up a whole heap of plans and a whole heap of investments, including my investments, are pegged to other plans. Pegged to
and they push back now.
Yeah. It's rough. And it hit me specifically with Pulse. Yeah, with Pulse, I felt that one. It fell all the way down. Now it's at 245. Now I'm only up 145%.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, guys. Thoughts and prayers. But what's the reason for hope? Let's give some people a reason for hope before we wrap. Other than because people still not going to do some of the aggressive things you are doing, Shanice. But what are some of your reasons for hope? How long do you think something like this can last? Meaning this downturn.
I think until the virus peaks here
in Jamaica.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people that are probably expecting us to go on lockdown, and they want to prepare for that time.
When you need money.
When you need money, yeah. When you need cash.
It's a major thing. And well, for anybody thinking that, guys, do remember you can take a loan against your shares. Ask your licensed investment advisor about that. Ask your broker about that.
Yeah,
some houses some people feel weird about it, but we need to get past that. Nobody has ever gotten rich on their people might get rich on their own. Nobody has ever gotten wealthy on without debt. Other people's money is one of the secrets to making money. I think the last person
Mr. Buffett about that one.
Right? How can that be, Danai? What's today's Buffett moment? Buffett never borrows. Everybody knows that. He never borrows. 90 billion in debt. and he never borrows. Why in God's name would he use his money if he can use yours? Oh, Lord. But I think some people might be fearful of it, but I think the smart people amongst will know that, a debt against your shares is good. It's a great asset, and anything you borrow against your shares at this low level is supposed to fly. Then I touched a PE point earlier. NCB's PE is now down to 13 times. Pulse is Pulse's
Oh, it's
PE
like
is down to
6. It's crazy.
6.1 times.
I should get back into
Damn.
Pulse.
Oh God. I mean, I can see a case for people being sad that they never get it at $2.45 in maybe a year. You remember
That's
saying
true.
nothing that the man them promised us don't happen yet, you know. The only thing that they've spoken about to happen that has already happened is the stock split.
We have a rights issue coming up. Or APO.
APO.
Yeah, I forgot to change that.
But we know that put off until BOJ restrictions. Until the people at BOJ feel like the dollar is fine enough for US dollar to be able to take US to Jamaica to take that pressure. But I think a lot of things have also fallen. There's something that I said before that I tweeted it before, and I think it's worth saying here. It's a question really. How many of the stocks that have devalued, have fallen in this time? How many of them do you think are going to get back to their old value? Because a whole heap of them did overvalue and never work it, right? So them drop down now, them correct. How many of them going to really have any exciting event to bring them back up to where you might think they should be, right? I don't know. Like, all right, let's 138 student living drop all the way now down to $4.37, right? But I think they have a nice pipeline of revenue to come that can see them going back up above this. I mean, their PE is 7.3 times, right? So I can see them easily going to $8 from where they are now. But when you look at other things like things that after everything then drop come right back down to where they are now. What's Fontana's PE? I think we said it earlier. Dana, you know?
14.5.
Wow.
On the junior market.
14.5 times on the junior market, yeah. But yo, the last time we thought PE big on this show, and I said that the overall market's PE was something like 28 at the time. The average PE on the market now, and this is just the average of all the PEs on the market now, 17.6 times.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that; it could be wrong, but I believe it's 17.6 times. That is wow. Wow.
You know what I'm hearing? Funny enough, what I'm not hearing very much. A lot of people always asking us, so when the market get crash, when the market get fall, and they always ask about it in the context of Warren Buffett say when the market down is a very good time to buy. I might hear much people talking about that really, and buy strategies for that.
Yeah. Yes, that last bit is key because you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, all these deals out there. Oh, we should have more cash," which I can understand. But strategies around it. That's the thing we're not hearing nobody talk about. Like, yo, it's a realistic thing. Here's a free one I'll drop in terms of my thinking. I big up DJ Courtney. I think DJ Courtney. I think his at is Courtney JM. But it is the DJ Courtney JM from all the parties. Keep everybody in New Kingston awake at night. um, who is here? He mentioned he was responding to a Twitter man and he said that where him is right now, it make no sense himself. He might as well just go and hold it and wait. You get me? Which I can understand for his holding. But that's one strategy. Another strategy is the hardcore strategy, which is we're here to make money. If you need to make money and everything has fallen, them going to rise. We make money on the rise. I am okay selling something that has fallen 30% and putting it into something else that I think will rise 60 or 70% faster than that other thing that I take it out of, even though I know it's going to go back up to its eventual level, right? NCB is going to go back to 200 and pass it in time. Maybe in a year. It'll definitely be ahead of 200, right? But I don't think it's going to be ahead of 200 in the next 2 weeks. But if I think something else, XYZ, is going to rise 40% in 2 weeks, I am going to put my money, I'm going to take it out of NCB, I'm going to put it in that thing I think is going to rise 40%.
And then when it rises 40%, I'll sell it and maybe carry it back to NCB.
Simple.
It seems so clear and straightforward, but if you say to get vilified, and I mean, people say it's risky, but it is risky, but it's not. It's not the riskiest thing in the world.
It's not.
Yeah, there are much riskier things out there. Even your Shanice, your mid Q play, your play in the middle of the days is riskier than what I just
Yeah,
said.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, Fontana, as much as I thought they were maybe overvalued, because they got to 8 and they got to 9 at one point. Did they ever touch double digits?
No, I don't think they ever hit the 10. They have?
I don't know, but I don't remember off the top.
I don't remember them because I remember those days for Fontana.
Yeah, I remember when they're at 9.
I remember when they hit 9 because I was mad at myself for not selling at the 9.
Yeah, same. Same. But I know that it couldn't last. The underlying value just wasn't there.
The 2 week range is 9. 9 is highest. 2 week high is 9.
Okay, the 52-week high is 9. Cool. So we know that they were overvalued then. However, since then they've opened a new branch. They've gotten a lot of stuff, and it's to say, but with COVID, I know people want to hear this. Like, why you haven't said it before? I'll say it now. With coronavirus, people getting sick. A lot more people are being safer. A lot more people are going to hit Fontana up and get a lot more medication. And I do think that a lot of people have been going to, not just them, a lot of pharmacies. I've been doing my checks with a couple of pharmacies. Well, people who work at pharmacy, you just touch base with them, how things, and say, boy, rough, wicked, the weekends and pack. I'm like, oh, that's so terrible, thoughts and prayers. But you buy that share, right? So Fontana, I couldn't justify it at 8 or 9, but I don't know, at 3? at 3, I can justify it at 3. I can justify Fontana, as a matter of fact, at anywhere up to 4 or 5. And the difference is I don't carry the feelings with it. So I am perfectly fine buying Fontana at $3.99, which it closed today. So it closed at 4. I'm perfectly fine buying it at 4 and selling it at 6. That's 50%. And I think any good news will send it there. I think what's going to happen with this market is that once we get over Corona, we're going to see a bunch of things shoot up given any good information.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And a bunch of them have good information coming. A whole heap have good information coming. Like crazy good information coming. Crazy good events coming, not good information, good events. Key among that is JMB, which is obvious, which is known. But yeah, we're beating a dead horse. Then I did ask you one thing though that you didn't answer. I think in all the talk we move past it. Then I had asked you, what is it that you see to make you pick these companies? Like when you're doing those heavy plays, what are some of the things that you see that make you say, okay, I'm going to try this with
That company.
Cygnus or any
Whichever
other
I
company?
company. Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
the volume that trades within that stock, probably like the day before or a few days before, or the trending volume for that stock if I can get the volume that I would want. And I look at the buy queue to see how the volumes are also set out in the buy queue. Because if there are a lot of small volumes, those will probably go fast. So I just put in a big order at a low price, at the lowest price that I can get it at, to ensure that they'll want to sell it to me, to make it look attractive to somebody to just
Okay.
dump their cash in that. People are going to want to get out, and you don't see the volume that you want to get out of. So I just put in an order for it.
Yeah, so you want to come out of the stock, but say you have 500,000 units, but you can't come out because only 200 units.
Exactly.
If Shanice come with 500,000 units, then guess what? This is my exit.
I'm out. That's the price I can get it at. I'm out.
Yeah. And if you don't understand something like that until you know what somebody's looking for when they're actually selling a stock.
Yep.
Because
Yep. That is
I remember
key.
one of the queues I was looking at, Seprod, it was very scanty and there was like small volumes that are trying to be bought. So I just put in a big order at a very low number. It failed. It halted. And as soon as it came back, it went right back up to where it was before. I bought it at 31.
The secrets.
It went up back to 36.
And it closed today at 36.79. So even if you did wait a little bit, you get out fine. And that's not any heavy percentages, but again, this is within a very short amount of time.
It's within a day.
Damn. It's 18%. And before people come kill us, this does require a lot of knowledge. Well, as Shanice can tell you, how long before you're comfortable doing something like this? That's probably what we should ask you.
2 years. Started trading 2017.
So you just start getting comfortable doing this stuff?
Yeah, no, I was never comfortable day trading like that. It's really just recently that I started making those very aggressive plays because I saw the market going down and I either went down with it or figure out how to manipulate it.
There we go.
I don't use that word.
Yeah, God, yeah. People think of manipulation as something bad. Yeah, say how to profit from it. Yeah. It's like when you say creative accounting, everybody goes crazy because no, that's a bad thing. Yeah, but I understand what you mean, Shanice. You didn't want you don't. There's no need to sink with the ship
because there's still money to be made.
Exactly. In every crisis, there are people making crazy money.
True.
Yeah, shout out to the people who are selling face masks right now. So there is literally always some profit there to be made. So I'm glad that you're saying that. Anything you want to leave the people in with, Shanice? But we're going to wrap it now. So thank you for visiting us and speaking to us for the last half and hearing us yap for the last half. But also thank you for showing that it's something that can be done by somebody who's just starting out, somebody who doesn't know a lot and not in finance. Well,
thanks for having me, guys. I know it's been a while since I'm supposed to come on this show, and every time I'm supposed to come, something happens. Well, I'm glad I finally made it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely having you back again. So.
Yeah, and probably very quickly too. Because we want to wrap up this first quarter. I mean, by the end of March, there's a lot more things that will come out in terms of results.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to have you on that episode.
Sure.
So you look out for another link from us. Tell the listening public something. Tell them what you want to tell them, what you want to leave them with, what you want them to know.
What do I want to leave them with?
Nothing. Damn.
No, Shanice, that's fine. Don't make any pressure in just saying anything. I think he likes that part.
Investing is for everybody. It's not for rich people. It's not for people who do finance. You can literally have no knowledge of anything in finance and do well in investing. You just need, Randy says it all the time, you need like a high school education, probably not even just prep or primary school education. And you can do this. And there's money to be made out there. So why not take advantage of it? We have the best stock markets in the world.
Yep.
Why not?
One off. Imagine that. During the biggest dip at the market that don't have any short, you draw 44% in one day. Light. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shanice.
Thank you, guys.
Tell the people if you want them follow you on
Twitter at Exaggeration. It's a name given to me by Danai.
So witty.
It's how that's spelled now.
EXAGGARASHAN. I think I said that right.
There you go. It'll be in the show notes.
It will be in the show notes. Thank you so much, Shanice. And then who think I want people to get pressure. I don't. I just don't want to be the only one talking. So I will leave the closing of the show to Danai, and I will tell everybody thank you for being here. I thank you for listening to another episode, and thank you, Shad, for being here. Thank you, Danai, of course, for co-hosting with me. And let's go and get that money from the market, guys. There's money out there.
Damn right.
Yeah, and it's a whole heap, and now is the greatest time.
It's the best time to be buying.
Yep.
Yo, you're seeing prices now like when you just started, don't Shan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Panjam $80.
Yeah, I said to Danai last time, it's a time machine you get.
Separate $36. Burrito $50. That's a crazy one.
That's a crazy one.
That is the crazy one.
Barita. Oh, God. Barita is crazy to me right now.
Yeah. But thank you, and I'll hand over to Danai, my co-host, who will close the show.
All right, guys, this has been earnings season. Thanks for having us. Thanks for listening. Big up, Shanice. Thanks for coming. Make sure you come again. All right, guys.
So this earnings season. Thank you.
I said that already, sir.
Oh, sorry. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Whatever you do right now, don't you stop.
Earnings season, bro.